Ciao everyone, this is Esther.
Alfred here.
Of You, Me, and Sicily, and we're going to go through some of our hidden gems across the island. Actually, they're not hidden, they're here, but you may have not heard about them.
You also may not have heard about that the Carnivale in Arte di Ali is going to be on, but they're just moving it to the end of April. So you guys can come in the end of April to the Carnivale, Esther.
That's very exciting. All right, make sure you watch all the way to the end because I'll have one of my favorites. But Alfred, for a change, you go first.
Thank you. Youth before beauty. Anyways, I like Isola di Femmine a lot. I like the people from Isola di Femmine a lot. I like the Joe Dimaggio Museum in Isola di Femmine a lot. The cannolis are great. And the people from California, Monterey, California, and a couple of other places over there. Martinez, California, to this day heavily support Isola della Femmine on the West Coast. To me, that's one of the best gems around. I love those people.
And we got to take a little boat ride over there to the island, which is a natural reserve. There's even Roman remains over there. But I'll tell you, the Joe Dimaggio Museum was quite a find. It's very small, but it has some of his memorabilia. The other thing at Isola della Femmine is that it is right outside of Palermo. It's not a busy place. It's a fishing village. It's quaint, it's cute.
Ciao,
noi un saluto da Isola delle Femmine che va a tutti gli americani che sono partiti da Isola delle Femmine per recarsi in America.
Isola della Femmine. Okay.
Wait a minute. I have one more thing to say.
Yeah.
You know, she just said go to the little island. There's a little island that you have to go to by a boat because she says there's nice Roman remains. Really, the only thing that there's a remains of are the birdies that fly by. Okay, so you don't want to go there. Stay in the town. It's awesome, my opinion.
I strongly recommend that you take a little boat ride to the natural reserve because it is very unique. All right.
There you have it. Different points of view.
Okay.
Now it's your turn.
But honey, you didn't even go on the boat ride.
I had to stay back and guard your car, as I remember. I was security that day.
All right. So over the years, I have said it over and over again, Castellammare del Golfo. I've talked about Castellammare del Golfo many times, but it's not necessarily a tourist destination. It is increasing in popularity over the past few years, but over there in the province of Trapani, it's right outside of the airport, so it's very convenient. It's halfway between San Vito lo Capo. You can take a train into Palermo. There's an Arab Norman castle right in the center that is absolutely spectacular. And if you get up early in the morning, get down over to the bay because the fishermen come out and they sell their catch over there. So it's a very cute little town. And it's not only just the bottom area where the bay and the castle is located, but there's also an upper side of the town where there's a World War I memorial. There's a beautiful garden, plenty of shops, plenty of restaurants, plenty of great gelateria.
Ciao, from Corso Bernardo Mattarella in Castellammare del Golfo. You're looking at the Palazzo del Comune, the municipal building. People who come from Castellammare del Golfo, their families came from Castellammare del Golfo and want to get their citizenship, can get their information right inside here. Now I want to show you this little villa here, Villa Regina Margherita, that was open in 1841. It's a little garden that people come to. And what's wonderful about it, it's small, there's a great view of the sea, and also there's a beautiful World War I memorial. Check this out. This is dedicated to all who died from Castellammare del Golfo during World War I. Over here also they have some shows. Put up a stage right over there. We were just here a few months ago and there was a puppet show, a Sicilian puppet show. It was great. Beautiful day here in Castellammare del Golfo. Look at the bay over there. Just gonna turn around and show you this World War I memorial again. Beautiful, right? There's the castle, the Arab castle, and there's the bay down there.
And then if you go all the way up top, there's a bella vista of the whole town. So Castellammare del Golfo, you may not have heard about it, but put it on your list.
I love Castellammare del Golfo. We actually took my kids there last summer. Do you remember, with my children there? And we found the great pizzeria. We actually went back twice. But I'm telling you, the whole jewel of the whole place is the Bella Vista up top. Okay, make sure you bring your camera. And also, there's a couple of street vendors there selling street food. They have very good stuff up there too. Just my own opinion again.
Yeah, I mean, we have our June tour of the West Coast out of Castellammare del Golfo, and we go to that pizza place all the time. And of course, Paula is a great cook, the villa that we're staying at.
That's true. That's true.
Your turn.
Okay, Montedoro. Have you ever heard of Montedoro, Esther? Montedoro has a couple of awesome things. Besides a great curator of the Sulfur Museum, am I correct in saying that? Also, they have a telescope. In the middle of nowhere, they've got this thing. It looks like a Hubble telescope.
An observatory.
It's an observatory. You can actually go in there and gaze up into the skies and stuff like that. But the whole environment is great. The Mountain of Gold, Montedoro, yellow in the summertime. It's a great little drive, easy drive too. Montedoro.
That place, what was very stunning and perhaps one of the most important things is that Sulfur Museum that chronicles this sort of unknown history here in Sicily, that sulfur mining was very, very big. They had the monopoly of sulfur mining here in Sicily, a very important part of Sicilian history.
I'm not going to read all because it's a lot of disease, but it's disease of the skin, of the lung, of the brain, everything. But what is more important is that their sexual maturity was happening like 4 or 5 years later than other guys working outside in the open air, because the hygienical and conditions and what they ate was not good for growing up, and even they get old earlier. So only 10% of miners.
I like the little center of town. Actually, it's quintessential Sicilian. We actually stayed into a place when we went there. We went there for a few days, while we were on location shooting. We stayed in a former convent that had been converted into a B&B, right? Convent, right? It was just unbelievable. You talk about stock. It had a bed, and it had a bureau, and it had a little party. But oh, what a beautiful town. What a beautiful town.
All right, so let's stay with the sulfur theme. Cianciana is another one of those little towns in the province of Agrigento. It's on top of a hill in the middle of a valley, and also known for its sulfur mining. In fact, in the episode that we did on Cianciana, I talked to one of the sulfur miners who started when he was 6 years old, and he worked until he was 12. It is brutal work. It is sad. It is lethal work. A lot of people died or got sick from sulfur mining, but an important part of history, as I mentioned. But the other thing about Cianciana that was so charming is that the people were just so nice and friendly. I was walking around with the camera and taking pictures, and I, wasn't too familiar with the lay of the land, and everyone I encountered was just so friendly.
Io come mi chiamo
Giuseppe, due Giuseppe e? Marino?
Michele.
Also, I talked to a little lady that was making minestrone soup, and I was asking her through the window what she was putting in it, and that was just a nice town.
Che sta facendo?
Sto cucinando.
Che cosa?
Una minestra.
Minestra?
Sì, sì.
Con basilico?
Con tutto. Con tutte le verdure.
Tutti verdura locale?
Sì, sì.
E come chiamate? Tuo nome?
Rosa.
Rosa, che bello. Grazie mille.
What's really remarkable, too, about Cianciana is that there are a lot of people from England there. Apparently, there's a famous actor who had a house there or something like that, and he brought a lot of attention to Cianciana on top of a hill. And by the way, of course, like with most towns in Sicily, plenty of churches to go into.
We depended on Google Maps to get there. It took me an hour and a half, right, through hill and dale. I mean, up and down, 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 down and up. It was crazy, right? So finally, when we were leaving, I asked this nice guy, I said, hey, how the hell can you get out of here? A lot easier than going up and down, up and down, up and down. So he says, good, take that road over there. Just go straight. So we took this road that the man suggested. Half an hour later, we were back in shock practically. It was like quick.
Agrigento.
Right? Agrigento, excuse me. It was quick. It was
now
really
listen.
cool.
While you're in Agrigento and you go to Cianciana, on the way back, you have to stop at this gelateria. Remember that one?
On
that has
on the shore road.
On the main shore road, it has one of the largest collections of gelatos I've ever seen. Take a look. You know where we are? The best gelateria in Agrigento. This is one of our stops, one of our regular stops when we're in the area because it has so many great flavors and it's a good little pick-me-up after a long day of shooting. So what do we have? Cocoa, mandarin, chocolate, strawberry, cherry, of course chocolate, hazelnut, cannolo, Sicilian cream. Wow, look at that. Pistachio, can't have it without pistachio. Okay, friends, hope you can come here and enjoy this with us one day soon. All right.
So that's a good place too.
Your turn.
Okay, my next place I'm sure you've heard about because it probably has the finest examples of mosaics, not only in Sicily, perhaps all of Italy. It's the Roman villa in Casale, Villa Romano, okay? It's really not a place that you want to go to and spend like overnight, but it's a good drive. It's only 30 minutes or 35 minutes from Enna in the center of town, center of the island. You have to pay admission to get in there, but you would be amazed at this villa, 2nd century or 3rd century AD, that was built and is practically in the same condition as it was 2 millennia ago. I think that that's one of the historically most important places to go visit myself.
I mean, can you imagine the farmer who found the villa by accident and then they did excavations and found perhaps one of the biggest and most beautiful collections of Roman villa. And there's a lot of dispute about who actually lived there. But the mosaics speak for themselves. There was someone very wealthy that lived there, and he also brought in rocks and workers from Africa to work on the villa. There's also a bath. It's just worth going in there. If you love history and if you love art, for sure, Villa Romana del Casale is a must-see.
What's your next one?
All right, the next one I'm going to do is Mazara del Vallo. Also, you know, another one in the province of Trapani. Now, before I go on, I just want to say that, of course, we're not going to mention the Palermo, the Catania, the Taormina, all those that you may have heard. These are just some that are not talked about as much. So we want to mention them. All right, Mazara del Vallo in the province of Trapani was one of the first areas that the Arabs conquered when they came here on the west coast. What is significant about Mazara del Vallo today is that as you walk through some of those ancient streets, there are signs in both Arabic, Hebrew, and Italian. Why? Because first the Arabs were there, but there were Jews in that area for a long, long time. Of course, Jews were here until the Spanish Inquisition, when they had a choice of either leaving the island or converting. But that area had a large number of Jews. And when the Normans came here, all those groups worked and lived side by side. So Mazara del Vallo is a beautiful little town. And by the way, it is one of the most important fishing villages in Italy, all of Italy. So Mazara del Vallo, you know, the red shrimp from there is very good as well.
You know, Esther, you made a very good point, and I want to bring it up right now. I've been here over 20 years, okay? And as I'm going to make a broad statement here, Sicilian people are very tolerant of all religious persuasions, okay? Especially Muslims, Jewish people, non-Christians, okay? There may be a little bit of institutional resistance on illegal migrants coming in on the boats, but guess what? We happen to know some, okay? And if given an opportunity here, they will become, and they are, contributing members of the Italian society, okay? I mean, that's what I want to say. Remember, they're coming from, in a lot of times on those boats, in economic hell, or even worse than economic hell, war hell, okay? So, you know, you have to be a little bit tolerant, just generally speaking, and I'm very proud to say that the Sicilian people here, because they have been oppressed for 2 millennia, they understand this. Yeah. And Palermo's a good example. You've got all different races, all different nationalities, all different religions.
The street signs and multiple
living side by
languages.
side. Yeah, living side by side.
It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful time.
In the province of Trapani. And I wanted to show you this street because it's very significant, and also this mural. It shows the Arabs, the Christians, and the Jews all living together in harmony one day here in Sicily. Of course, the Jews are gone, but a lot of Muslims, a lot of people from Tunisia still live in this section of town. But I wanted to show you this because actually there's murals of ceramics and all types of symbolism all throughout the streets of Mazara del Vallo in this ancient section. So there you go. Rua della Giudecca. This was the Jewish section, and straight ahead was and is the Muslim section. So there you go, a little history here for you from Mazara del Vallo.
Come chiama questa chiesa?
San Francesco d'Assisi. In barocco 1680.
Non primo.
No, prima c'era, ma era un altro santo, San Biagio.
I have 3 little housekeeping announcements before I announce my next one, okay? The first housekeeping announcement I want to talk about, is to give another big shout out to Jim Ingram, who has consistently, he's now probably, with Vivian and a couple other people, our best supporter.
Tony Patti, Peter Schiavelletti, Vivian.
You know, I was talking about Jimmy. Not only is Jimmy a great friend of ours, he's also one of our largest supporters. In stature, he's not so large, except maybe perhaps width-wise, but he's got a heart of gold.
You're terrible.
I don't think anybody loves Sicily more than this man, okay?
Yeah.
And I want to just give him a good shout out. I know he hasn't been feeling well. We love you, Jim. We miss you.
And, you know,
thank you for your continued support.
Let's put Jody and Vivian up there, who for years have also been
there's
big-time supporters. All right, so
your turn.
Let's move on.
You know what I like? I like going to Noto, the beaches of Noto, especially San Lorenzo. You talk about crystal blue water, Caribbean vibe, so to speak, great sights, so to speak, and it's not that expensive, and it wasn't that crowded, okay? There are several beaches that you can go in San Lorenzo, but San Lorenzo, totally, in my view, is the best place to go to beach in all of Sicily. Just my opinion, but I really like it.
And the Fontana Bianco, also outside of Syracuse, is one that people say is just unbelievably Caribbean-like. So there's some beaches down there that are very cool. And there's also, right outside of Noto, right, before San Lorenzo, is the El Loro, where the ancient people of El Loro were, where my Italian teacher took me. It's a beautiful walk down there along the shore, and you walk along these paths where the ancient Roman people built to build the city of Noto. So it's very historic, very beautiful, another hidden treasure. My next one is going to be Segesta.
Segesta.
Segesta
I
also
suggested Segesta.
Segesta in the province of Trapani. Historians say that it's an unfinished Doric temple, but what a beautiful example. And just as you arrive to the temple, you park your car and then you can walk up, or sometimes they have those golf carts that can take you. But after you go see that and you see the beautiful view of the valley, go to the amphitheater, go back down to the parking lot, and they have buses that go, I think, hourly over to the amphitheater. So definitely a must-see. The Eliminian people that were the original people in that area were the first inhabitants, but of course, as the Greeks swept through there, they built these beautiful temples, but the one in Segesta is just so majestic. From every angle, there's something to see.
I have 3. This one is for my pal Frank and Chris Cornelio and Angelo and Frankie, the Cornelio family from New York. Listen to this, guys. What's the name of his town? Canicatti. Okay, birthplace of my grandmother, believe it or not. I want to give a shout out today to their cousins there, Kelly and Bridget. Bridget, by the way, was one of our instructors for the Sicilian project. But what a cool little town. You need to watch that video and check out their bakery. Okay, they have one of the best bakeries, but it's a great town. It's Baroque in nature, wonderful history.
Yeah.
And now Bridget is actually leading the charge on animal rescue over there, and almost single-handedly. So that has to be one of my favorite towns.
Well, not only down at the bottom, the modern place, but make sure you go up to the top where the streets are skinny, and don't go with a big car. Don't go with an SUV, because we got stuck a few times during our shoot. But make sure that you go to the ancient part of the city, and that's a very important point, that there's usually a main part, but there's also an ancient part in many cities. So there's Canicatti.
Good place.
Okay, so this is a specialty of your family.
Yes, it is. The casareccio. It's a very antique type of bread, very like from our ancestors, and yes.
And what makes it different?
It's the dough and the yeast is called lievito madre. So they wait hours and hours until it starts to
rise.
Yes, rise. Yes, it's very natural. It's natural. It's not artificial. They don't put artificial yeast inside.
So something important I want to mention, I got a phone call from a priest last night from the Church of San Francesco in downtown Catania that serves some of the poorest people in Catania, and we have donated to him over Christmas €500 through our nonprofit, the Sicilian Project. But he called me last night and said that the situation is getting worse and worse, and he does a Saturday meal to the poor, where they do a lunch and they serve them at a beautiful table and serve them 2 or 3 courses. And he said we need to do a few more of these because the number of people that are coming to the church are increasing. So he called me last night. So we asked if you can donate a few dollars to thesicilianproject.com. It is our nonprofit. And of course, we thank you very much for your support. The money that comes in, we don't make a penny. It goes directly to the church. They always write to me how they spend it, send me pictures and so forth.
You know, the other thing I was going to say, Esther, for those of you who are my Facebook friends, I just put on a fundraiser up on my Facebook, Alfred Zappala. For those of you who want my friends, you could be my friends. Just send me a friend request. But you'll see the thing for the Sicilian Project. I put it up today. It'll stay up for as long as we possibly can. And we'd like to be able to send money not only to him but to Father Mario. I'm sure we have another priest that's in the same situation. So we need to have an emergency type of request with this show. So that's the housekeeping announcement I wanted to make.
Anything else?
Look at my hat, Esther. Last week, I bowed my head like this. I said, look at my hat, Esther, and we got 6 orders. So I'm going to do it one more time. Look at my hat, Esther. Hats, T-shirts, you name it, we have them. How do they get them, E?
They go to our website, youmeandsicily.com.
It's all's there. We do not have any more XXL long sleeve men's tees right now. So even if it says that we have them, we do not. Just let you know about that.
All right. So here's something I strongly, strongly suggest that you guys do. Take the shore drive to wherever you're going, because there are some really, really cute, quaint fishing villages splattered all over the coast of Sicily, up, down, west, and east coast. Over here, of course, we love Trezza, Campomolini, Castello, quaint, beautiful fishing villages. On the north shore, there's Aspra, which is so cute. Little places where you just drive through, stop the car, have fun. Experience it and explore Sicily, even without the list that we just gave you.
Well, there's over 200 towns in Sicily. We're just basically scratching the surface. And as Esther says, I think exploration is the most important thing. Right now we have our friends, Bob and Breezy. They're exploring Sicily. They're
Just
doing it
driving
on
around.
their own. Those two and Google Maps, that's it. And they're having the time of their life, too. I'm glad that they're doing it, too. Listen, there's one other thing I'd like to say before we hang up on you. No, we don't hang up on you. Whatever it is we do, hang up. Rotary phone. Anyway, listen, we have our 9th sponsor came in. 9 sponsors. And we would still like to have you sponsoring us on our shows. We're about ready to go and hit the highway. We have a lot of videos to take. Once the good weather breaks and the things start to grow, why don't you become a sponsor on our programming? We could really use you too. Contact Esther and make arrangements. It's not that expensive. And we also have other ways that you can help us. But right now, we have kind of like all hands on deck for our sponsorship growth. If you've been a sponsor previous years, why not sign up again with us? And that's what I wanted to say. And thank you very much about that, too.
Thank you for all our sponsors, all our supporters, and we appreciate the time that you took to spend here with us, and hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, share it with a friend, and let us know if you visited any of the places we suggested. Thanks so much for watching. Ciao.
Se benediga.
Ciao.
Oh, it's getting tougher and tougher, Alfred.
You know, this is the dolce of Isola delle Femmine. And when I take a bite of this ricotta, and it looks like it's carob or chocolate?
Chocolate.
Chocolate, candy, the candy oranges. You know who I'm going to think of? I'm going to think of Joe Dimaggio and the Dimaggio family, who emigrated to the United States of America, Martinez, California. This is for all the people in Martinez. Look at that. And I'm going to eat it. Wow.